Okay, so what does incest mean in this situation?
So this situation, Raila, who everybody knows I have supported Raila for a very long time, and this is very difficult. It's a very difficult moment for a lot of us.
For you?
No, it's not only me. All these Azimio ODM groups. And I can hear what people are saying. This is a very difficult moment because this is the earliest handshake in the history of handshakes. Remember, Moi's handshake was towards Moi's, when Moi was going towards out of office. Uhuru's handshake was in the second term. Kibaki's handshake, it was after 5 years, it was in the second term. We have a new handshake government in Kenya. The ODM members have been nominated by President Ruto into what he had called a dissolved cabinet, but he returned more than half of the people he had dissolved. He undissolved them. So, Omosh, maybe let me get started with you. Do you think this movement has been defeated?
The Gen Z movement?
Yes, by this new incest relationship between Raila.
Incest?
Yes, that's an incestuous relationship between Raila between Raila and Ruto. And I call it incestuous because
let me hear your defense.
Because
I want to hear where the incest is coming in.
The incest
Maybe
is coming
you
in.
don't understand words.
The incest is coming in because they've been brothers in politics. The incest is coming in because there are 60 lives lost.
Okay, so what does incest mean in this situation?
So this situation, Raila, who everybody knows I have supported Raila for a very long time, and this is very difficult. It's a very difficult moment for a lot of us.
For you?
No, it's not only me. All these Azimio ODM groups. And I can hear what people are saying. This is a very difficult moment because 60 people were killed by the government.
Yes.
And these protests were pushed by Kenyan Gen Zs.
Okay.
Raila was not part of this mandamano.
Okay.
At least in previous handshakes, he was part of what resulted in those handshakes. So this right here was a manufactured handshake. There was something else that was going on.
But why is it being called a handshake?
It's a handshake.
Because it is a handshake.
I don't see it that way.
Okay, talk to us.
Omosh.
Ngoja, Mika, let's give Omosh.
I was asked the question.
Let's give Omosh a chance to speak, because this is a moment in history where I think we have to be very honest with people that we've supported in the past, because even with Ruto, a lot of the people in this Gen Z movement are people who voted for him. There are people who supported him, but right now,
not a lot of the Gen Zs.
No, quite a number of them.
Zero.
Quite a number of them.
Quite a lot of them voted for him.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
They didn't vote.
Remember, even the people we hosted on this show, I don't think you were here the day when we were hosting them. Yeah, these are people who voted for him.
Omosh, why do you guys keep saying they didn't vote in the
Anyway, let's give Omosh a chance. Let's give Omosh a chance to
firing squad.
Yeah.
Kwani mumekuja hapa kuniletea conspiracy?
Utajua ujui.
Useless nyinyi wote. Okay, so for me, I don't look at it as a handshake.
Okay, talk to us.
Okay, because
how do you see it?
What transpired or what occurred prior to this so-called government of what did they call it?
Government of National Unity.
This so-called government of national unity. I still don't look at it as a government of national unity. I see that there's 4 positions that were given to ODM people out of 23. I don't call that a government of national unity.
That's what they've called it.
From my perspective, I'm just looking at sheer numbers. The numbers don't lie. There's no national unity there, if you ask me.
Okay.
And then if we look at the other groups, like let's say the other parties that either say are part of the Azimio coalition,
yes,
or the other say parties that had people who actually made some sort of what's the right word? Other parties that have quite a number of people in parliament that are not UDA. Those guys were not included in this.
Like Wiper.
Again, Wiper refused.
Yeah, they refused.
From what we know, right?
And also NAC.
NAC refused from what we know. And what's Nani's party? What's this guy's name? Eugene.
DAP Kenya. DAPK.
There's nobody from there, right? But again, the three principals said them they don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Right? So from my perspective, when I'm looking at it, 4 out of 23 is not a government of national unity. The problem I see here, for me, looking in from the outside, is that these 4 positions were given. There had been rumors saying that Raila was going to get 7 positions, or there's going to be 7 positions offered, and there were names that were floated, including Winnie, including I don't know who. There were all sorts of different names that were floated. One name that had been floated consistently and was in this was Joho, and I think Mbadi.
No, Joho. The names that were the names that were all appointed were fronted from the word go. Okay. And if you've realized, of the 4 that were appointed, is where the next flag bearer of that party is coming from. So basically, he took his 4 principles and gave them cabinet position.
Now, when you say that party, you mean ODM?
ODM, yes.
Okay, sawa.
Because the next flag bearer of ODM is going to be between those 4 people. Those are the names that are
and on that I can agree with you. I can actually agree with you on that.
So that is of the 4 is where that party has been looking to pull out one of the next presidential candidates, right? And these are the people who they are perceived as having a lot of access. And these are Baba's people. You cannot even try to say Sigeti he picked randomly.
Oh, no.
I just decided one day.
No. You are totally right about that. That part you're totally right about.
These were positions that he reached out to Baba and told him, I have this, I'm going to give you this, and he's taking it. And then remember, he's getting his candidature for AU, which is coming with full government support. So that is what he's going for, right? And then also remember, the other positions which are supposed to go into reshuffling, which are going to be the principal secretaries.
Yeah.
And that is where we're going to see more appointments. So, a government of national unity or a government of national unity, it doesn't matter. What matters and what people are demonstrating about, he did not solve with his appointments in any way.
I agree with you.
And why people are mad at Baba is because you were told to stay out of the maandamano, you stayed out. But then you saw a vacuum that came in. And this guy also saw a vacuum that was there. And together they negotiated a way of how they're going to do things while they're weakening his VP, who was making noise about Murima and because the VP was making him uncomfortable. Remember, if the VP could shake the MPs that are aligned to him, and those MPs will vote with opposition, he will not be able to rule the country as he wants to rule the country. And that is why he went to cover himself with ODM, so that even if the VP went wrong with his people, he has numbers from ODM to cover. So here, Omoj, there is no way. There is absolutely no way we can clean up Raila, because Raila knows.
I didn't say I was cleaning up anything. But let's you didn't even give me a chance to finish.
I'm not saying you say
you didn't give me a chance to finish. You jumped in on my pot.
Yeah,
I was cooking.
I'm finishing up. There is no way here how Raila can be sanitized in any way, because he has given Ruto some wind for him to do what he wants to do, and that is why he has been so arrogant in bringing back his people and going with it. Now, the good thing, or what this makes it gives the people of Kenya a clear view of who's their enemy and who they need to go and work against. And clearly here it shows that the whole political class is not for them. So it's up to the people as they continue pushing the government and continue do I think it's such a big deal? Yes. Do I think it stops it? No. It just gives people a strategy and something to turn around and come back with. Clear, change your sights, let's work again. Omwastua.
Okay, Aya, Omosh. Let's let Omosh give his side.
Again, like I said, I don't see national unity in this. Raila didn't go knocking on anybody's door. This thing was brought to him. He has played this game politically the way he has perceived it to see it to be played. Now, the problem that I see with our Kenya, unfortunately, is we are very short-minded in terms of our memory and how things occur. In 2023, when there was a Finance Act, maandamanos, and people were sitting in bomas and having irreducible minimums, and all these conditions were being put, and they agreed, and the report was handed to Gava sat on it and decided to do nothing with it. Then strategically, when Gen Zs start maandamanos, the report now comes out, and IBC restructuring and reconstitution is now issue. Let's sign and let's do a PR thing and have all the principles of Azimio stand up and hold that thing up and take a picture to show that we are together, right? And right after that, everybody's like, Kapana, don't sell us out. Stay out of this. And Raila backed off. This guy comes to him and says, hey, I have positions. And I don't know if you guys remember in 2022, when this guy went in and after...
But Omosh didn't back off.
Mika, wacha Omosh amalize. Wacha Omosh amalize and then you'll respond. Aya, Omosh.
So, before I was rudely interrupted, in 2022, when there was the court hearing and the judges came back and said, okay, this guy is the one who's entering into office and everything looks good and there was no foul play, blah, blah, blah. The one thing that came out of Ruto's mouth, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, was that I'm here to unite the country. Let's unite as one country and we need to have an official office of opposition. Was that said by him?
No, yes, that was said.
And so, if we're to go by what was said in 2022 and what's happening now, where is the problem?
So here's the problem.
Okay, that's hold on. I'm not done. And that's just me looking at it from my perspective. Again, this is just me and my perspective and how I'm looking at it. I don't think Raila sold people out. I think the problem that we have with all these political bodies and all these things is they have backroom deals that they do. And all of these things are put out in MOUs, and we, the people who are the voters who bring them in and they're supposed to answer to us, we don't know what these things are until one day somebody leaks these things out. So we don't know what's going on or what happened, even with that Bomas agreement. Nobody knows. We've just been told, oh, there's a report. This is what we think was in there, but no one has seen it. Have you guys seen it?
The NADCO report is out. The NADCO report is out. If you're referring
to the
NADCO
out.
Okay, no. Yeah. Mimi mwenyewe ndio, because again, like ndio nasema, these are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? So if the NADCO report is out and it had not been put into play, what was the reason why it had not been put into play? And the thing came out before December.
The reason why it was not put into play, Omosh, is because at the end of the day, it's the sitting government that has to put it into play.
Sawa. So this was a game, right?
They have to take it to parliament where it was going to be voted for, and they could put into play.
So it was a game, right?
So they had that they control the numbers. And that is why, again, why I'm saying Raila was opportunistic and he sold out people. Because they controlled the numbers, they had everything. They were not even trying to say or push them. They were just complaining every day, implement the NADCO report, right? When Raila came out the first time, hiyo siku ya kwanza tukashangatia amekuja amepiga picha ameinua NADCO report anasema nini. It was like, we are pushing them to do this and this and this. Remember, that watu kamuingilia. What did he do? They went to a matanga. In that matanga, everybody told him very loudly, do not, and we repeat, do not do anything. What did he do again the next Monday? Came out with a statement about how he's still pushing for dialogue. I'm insisting on this, and this. And that's what he's been trying to say. He has never come and said anything in any way that he's no. He will just but at the end of the day, he never stands by his word. And it's been showed here. So
when you say he never stands by his word, Mika,
he has never stood by.
I don't know
his
what
word.
I don't know what word we're talking about. Let's deal with what we are dealing with now, right?
Let's talk about the current situation right now.
Okay.
In his word was that there is no way he's forming any government with Ruto.
Okay.
Number two, there is no way he's supporting Ruto. And number three, he said he's gonna sit it out. He didn't sit it out. He joined in.
So on
he
this
joined
one,
the government by nominating 4 of his principals to join the government that he is. So that means he's working with the government. Because if, as the de facto party leader of ODM, he can clearly say, kick these ninjas out. We're not doing this. He hasn't done that.
So let me.
You see the way Babu Wina
said
he's not in support. Baba can say that, and then we can and he can say that and kick out those people from ODM. Then we can know. But him trying to sell us, at CG, I'm pushing for dialogue, CG for all those who have been arrested to be released. CG to be released. Even if you see his talking points of what he's asking, is not in conjunction with what the people are asking for when they're going to negotiate. I am a Baba fan, but I'll be first to admit and say here he sold out.
Now,
the reason he did this, we know is why.
I'm not with you.
Okay, Sawa.
I'm not with you on that one.
Okay, we can agree to disagree on this.
And Baba even wrote a letter, supposedly.
We can agree to disagree on this.
Which talks a lot of nothing.
But
Ngojeni, agree with it.
Ngojeni, we can agree to disagree on this, but what we can agree on is that there was a protest that was started, which was not done by the political class.
Correct.
It was the young people in Kenya.
Correct.
They were fighting against a tyrannical finance bill, a toxic finance bill, which they successfully were able to make the president to not sign to it. Unfortunately, in the process, more than 60 people have been killed. There's been multiple hundreds of abductions. There are people who are still missing. So there's been a lot of suffering associated with this movement. The political class was not involved. Baba was specifically told to completely stay out of this. President Ruto was cornered. For the first time since getting into office, he spent more than 3 weeks in Kenya. And that's a very weird stat. I don't know that Kenyan Drew will be looking that up right now. But he was never spending more than 3 or 4 weeks in Kenya before going somewhere. This is the first time, this is the longest that he stayed in Kenya since he became president. I think he's done 60-something, if it's not 67, 68 trips in less than 2 years, even for a frequent flyer. That is just astonishing. That's a lot. So this guy, he had been completely cornered. Now, the one thing, the one thing that Baba could have done to completely shut him out, because people wanted Ruto out. If now Baba would have joined, because he did not even join the Mandamanos, he was told to stay out. But if he would have joined that chorus, and Ruto would have been completely naked. So the only reason why Ruto reached out to Baba is because he knew once they engage in this incestuous sexual intercourse, then they will have control of parliament. They will have full control of parliament. Now, once you have full control of parliament, you cannot, there's certain things that you'll be able to do. What was supposed to be the next step? Constitute IEBC.
Correct.
Now, with Baba, with his men and some of these are personal friends. Ali Hassan Joho is a personal friend, and I'll be the first one to tell him that umetuangusha. Because at this point, it's one thing.
He's all our personal friend, boss.
Yeah, he's our personal friend. So it's one thing, when if it's just a government appointment you are looking for, if this was in other circumstances, but here we have a situation where, this movement has lost more than 60 lives. And then now here you
Correct.
come and insert yourselves, and you come and say, oh, like now there's national unity, and then you call it national unity, and then now you start going back on top of cars to start reasserting your campaigns for 2027, because I think this is kind of like they use this as an opportunity to try to create a formation for election 2027. Now, the one unique thing about this handshake, this is the earliest handshake in the history of handshakes. Remember, Moi's handshake was towards Moi's, when Moi was going towards out of office. Uhuru's handshake was in the second term. Kibaki's handshake, it was after 5 years, it was in the second term. Ruto's handshake, he's not even been in office for 2 years. So here's the other problem. We have a serious economic problem, and Ruto is again looking at it as a political problem, and he's gotten a political solution that has temporarily solved it, but this problem is not going to go away, unfortunately.
No, it's not. You and I agree.
Yeah, it's not going to go away.
It is not going away.
So we have more than 3 years to go. It's not going to go away. We are going to have another finance bill. In fact, even finance bill.
I don't know if Ruto's going to be able to garner another 2 years.
We're going far. So the next issue.
How do you know there's going to get another 3 years?
Ngoja kidogo, Mika, ngoja tumalize. You'll get your chance to speak. You see, like the next step right now is for Baba, not Baba, is for Parliament to enact the necessary laws to reconstitute IEBC.
Yes.
So that's going to be the next source of friction, and this is going to continue, because now once this IEBC is formed, then we get what you call a recall election, because people are asking for members of parliament to be recalled. And right now, because of this incestuous relationship between Ruto and Raila, they will not want their members of parliament to be recalled, because if we go to recall, once IBC has been reconstituted, registration has been done, most of these members of parliament are gonna be going home if they risk doing a recall.
Correct.
So I think that's the other goal, is to try and block this recall process, because initially was to recall those members of parliament who voted no. Yes for the yes for the finance bill.
Yeah.
But now we have all these other, like even people who've not been appointed, like Kaluma, they are joining in that threesome. Like you've not even been appointed to cabinet, but then they're jumping on it. We have 60 lives that have been lost. We have dozens of parents who don't know where their children are. They don't know whether they're dead or alive. We have bodies being found in quarries.
Correct.
So it gets to a point when we have to be honest. On this one, Raila, you got it wrong. Just come back, apologize, and I don't even know if an apology will work right now. But on this one, and this is very difficult for me personally.
I think we need transparency.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me personally.
That's for me. We need transparency. And to me, here's the thing. And I feel and I hear your pain. Where in the point of these 4 people who have been appointed, if like and I agree with a little bit of what Mika is saying, where basically where it's Raila would come out and say, okay, guys, here is why we've done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and this is where we're headed with it, and we've decided we're going to fight this monster from inside. Quote unquote. I think that is easier than even coming out and giving an apology for the people who are feeling that they have been now abandoned and left out. And because everybody now is saying, okay, you know what? Fine, we've had this happen with the Gen Zs, but then now we're going back to all the things that you have done before, where lives have been lost, people have been so what was all of that for? Why did we go through all of that, right? So to me, I think, hold on, Mika, I think for me, if he were to come out and be, I would say, transparent and honest and say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because the letter, even though he did push out the letter, in fact, I'm even questioning whether it's his letter, but if he hasn't come out and said it's not his, then it's his. Right? So,
but Omosh,
go ahead, Mika.
Omoshme, you're saying about transparency, right? I'll take you back to a week ago, where again he himself said this, right? He said that you guys are pushing for Ruto to go. If Ruto goes, it means Gachagua is the one who comes in. Do you want to say that Gachagua is a better person? Like that was a statement he should not have made, right? And he said that the reason why, and again he retaliated why he's pushing for dialogue, and in his dialogue, why he gave us his 4 points that he likes giving us every time. So for me, I'm like, you are somebody who understands the constitution. You helped in building this constitution, right? There's so many things that Raila has done for the country, we cannot forget about that.
Correct.
Right? So you helped with the writing of this constitution. You understand this constitution. You clearly know quite well if there's a vote of no confidence, it's both of them, it's not one. That's how the constitution says. Number two, you know that there's not going to be a vacuum of power. We have a speaker and we have an attorney general. They're the two who are going to run the country, and as per the constitution, between 60 and 90 days, they have to hold another election. So there was never going to be any vacuum of power. So telling the people that say that the Gachagua or the military who are coming in, you're using scare tactics again. And you know you control a huge following in the country of people that follow you and listen to you. You know pretty well that the reason why you're being given all these goodies that you're being given right now is so that you have people who will be part of, because this is a Gen Z demonstration, but it got to a point where other people have joined in, right? And then even when it started, it's why do you think police go to attack people in the estates? Right? Why do they go to attack people? So that watu wasifike kwa towns, because wanajua, and they know that this guy also has following in major parts of the country or major parts of the estate, who akisema hivi ata reduce numbers zote zenye wanakuja kwa streets. He can be used as a pacifier. They know and then pia politicians wake walikuwa wanapiga kelele kwa social media wamenyamaza, bloggers wake wamenyamaza, wameanza kupush nini. He knows he's being used to clean the bad image that Ruto has right now. So
okay,
for me, it doesn't matter what clarity that you need from Raila Manini. Raila hapa, and it's painful to say this because this is somebody that I've looked up, this is somebody, and then we have friends in this party, we have people who we talk to in this party, and it's like,
okay,
unajua moshi niko
sawa
kwa msoa Ruto sahi useme una support Ruto na push Ruto sahi, unajua hata tunashindwa kukupiga, tunakupenda lakini hatuwezi kukupiga, tunataka kukupiga, hatujui tufanye nini na wewe.
Okay, aya sawa ngoja,
this is what I want to do before we wrap up. Let me see if this is gonna play. Hold on, let me see if this is gonna play. Hold on.
Usitoke, don't.
Hold on.
Agwambo, this is a message to you. Usitoke, don't come. Agwambo, please stay at home. We saw your efforts, okay? We saw everything that you did for Kenya. Now let us. We miss you, but Agwambo, please don't even come outside. Don't come outside. Tunatoka on your behalf, okay?
Now, this was June 18th.
This was before even the June 25th, where people started getting killed.
Yes.
This was the first demonstration.
This was the first demo, yeah.
Gwambo's response was, "I'm very proud of my children."
Yeah. Yeah. Let me go through some comments quick.
Yes.
And then we're gonna wrap up. And then I just want Annette to have a word or two on how, now the Kenyans who are raised here, who are perceiving this conflict, because I think it's very important to get that other perspective. So comments that were coming here, I can see Aurora was saying some of the Gen Z told Rao to chill, like sit and watch your revolutionary legacy work. And then Ulrika Bernard says if Raila wanted to help move the needle forward, he would have. They are all in bed together. The handshake was was to shut him up. And then Kenyan says Omosh, what a semantics. A rose by any other name still smells like a government of national unity. And then Washeke says Omosh is still in denial about Baba. And then hapa Steven JJ anasema Raila huwa mweupe kama pamba lakini hapa amechafua. wamejiwekea target, politicians wamejiwekea big bullseye. Hii wa Kenya hawatasahau. Gen Z and millennials are the biggest voting bloc. Wachukue kura na wapige kura sawa sawa, finito. And then Ulrika Bernard says, please mobilize for Kamala. We need a change, and our change is here. Please share. We raised 2 million in 2 hours, and it was white women. And guess who really started this? Black women. We have work to do. If you're an immigrant, if you're a woman, if you're a cat lady, this change affects not only us, but even those in Kenya. And then I can see here we're saying, no, this is Gerard Oliech. How are we still talking about IBC being enacted? And with the handshake, the handshake has...
And this handshake...
Yeah. Okay.
Will and has diluted the official opposition party.
Diluted the official opposition. And then hapa Kenyan Jui anasema, Ali, you're really pushing the hyperbole today at the incestuous sexual intercourse threesome guy baba. The show is PG. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, sorry if there was any kids, but yeah, this is where that's where, and I hope this message gets to them. They need to understand. I think Baba needs to know that the ground is burning. Yeah, Baba needs to understand that.
I think he has heard it loud and clear. If he didn't
No,
hear,
he hasn't.
If he didn't hear Mika, I think he has heard it loud and
No,
clear.
he hasn't,
Yeah.
because he should have heard that before. But
Yeah.
anyway,